Hey, Nicole, what's up?
Hello.
What's happening?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to say thank you for your staff for holler back and girl at me. So, original.
Number one,
original
you ain't no
17.
holler back girl. That's B-A-N-N-A-S. But two, thank you for being on the show. What's up?
Yes. So, I had a question as pertaining about my husband. I'm going to kind of read it off because, nerves, right?
Okay.
So, my question to you is, when your husband's lifelong dreams are becoming more and more unrealistic, as his wife, how can I support him, but in realistic circumstances without him feeling like I am shooting him down or not being supportive?
Oh, man. You are between a rock and a hard place, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Give me a primer on where you are or what happened.
So, his dream is wanting to ultimately farm.
Does he have any farming experience or just a ton of YouTube videos?
So he was raised on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he knows what farming is. He knows that life. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
He does. The thing is that he took it over about 6 years ago because all of a sudden his uncle had passed and it was kind of like, okay, here you go.
He took over the family farm?
He did.
Okay.
So we did, but then come to realize after a year into it that the family had so much debt that my husband was kind of set up for failure. Yeah. So then it was taken away.
Farm got repoed?
So no, we had to sell everything, all the equipment, everything. It's still in the family, our land is still in our family name, but it is owned underneath a family member. So it's under trust, all this stuff, but other people farm it, and yeah. So
yikes. That was huge. That was like a funeral for him, wasn't it?
Yes, because it was also during a time that family member died too. Okay. So it was a lot.
That's heavy. Okay. All right. So, like millions and millions of people in America who are farming, they're so trapped in this debt cycle, and it's just what a catastrophe it is. But so he lost it, had to sell, and then what? And
then to fill that void, him and a close friend started to then own cattle, and that kind of filled the grain void of not being able to farm that way. So he fixated with that, and so we've been in that. We've been doing good, and then my husband's still on this train of I want to ultimately just farm, to do cattle and then to do grain too. My husband works full time. I work part time now. We have 2 kids. It's just come to the realization that in the next couple years, our land's going to probably go up for sale. So with that being said, we have to buy ground plus buy equipment, try to do all this at one time.
Ugh.
My husband,
all right. So here's a couple of things. Number one, I want you to check out Carbon Cowboys. Okay.
Okay.
They have a documentary out, but they also have an Instagram page, and I love the work they're doing with regenerative farming. It's pretty miraculous what they're doing.
Okay.
And so all I have to say is it's a way of older farming without all the fertilizers and all the tractors, et cetera, with cattle. And it's pretty remarkable, what they're seeing, the yield they're seeing, and overall profit increase, okay? But that's a side obsession of mine that has nothing to do with this show at all. And I can get way out over my skis real fast with talking about things I don't know anything about. But I've been blown away by those guys. So check that out. The second thing is, this is more pertinent to your question. Dreams have to be attached to values. Otherwise, your dreams will kill you. What do I mean by that? I want to be in the movies. It's a dream of mine to be in the movies. You go out to Hollywood, and this is 25 years ago, but just go with me on it. You go out to Hollywood. I want to be in the movies. I'm a waiter, and I go to auditions all day, and then I finally get a manager who's like, yeah, but you got to take these photos. And you're like, ooh, I don't feel good about those photos. But I want to do this, but I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this. All of a sudden, you see where this heads. you end up with a tiny little role in a movie that you're embarrassed to tell your mom you were in, but you got in the movies, and so then the next one's like, well, you can't say no. Now you finally get some momentum, and then suddenly you end up in a place where you never wanted to be because that dream was not attached to any values. I have a dream of being a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. And there's not that dream is not rooted to any sort of plan or any sort of values. You will find yourself slowly cutting corners. You'll find yourself kind of doing things like, let's just do that one. Let's try this deal. Let's take this bet. Let's go ahead and, that warehouse is too big. We can't really afford it, but let's just go ahead and, okay, can you extend the mortgage out a little bit more? Okay, let's do it. And so the work in your home, I want a husband who's dreaming and always thinking about something cool, something that brings the family lineage back, that brings him joy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He wants to redeem the family name. All that's fine and good. But it has to be attached to reality, to a set of values. As for me and my house, we don't borrow money. So a perfect example is at my house, I'm on 6, almost 7 acres. 85 acres went up for sale of raw land behind me. I can guarantee you I was the first person on the phone to make that call. And they wanted such an insane price for it. I called my buddy Dave Ramsey and was like, hey, is this and he's like, that's too high. Like, the investment is too high. And somebody ended up buying it for less than that, but they wrote a check for it. I didn't have the money. I was heartbroken, dude. I wanted this to be generational land for my family. Didn't work out. So now I'm on to the next. See what I'm saying? But my dream of owning a place for family to always come, to always be able to hunt and visit and fish, it's not going to be on this piece of land because it was attached to a value that the Delonys don't borrow money. You see what I'm saying here?
No, I do. That's where we have a hardship at. I grew up very frugal, and yeah. You might, as y'all settle on your values, frugality might not be one of your core values anymore, but being safe might be. So we have to decide what does safe mean? Because I can be overly frugal to where my banker buddy is like, "What are you doing? Buy that." I'm like, "Yeah, but meteorites may come in 7 years." And he's like, "Good God, dude, get your wife a car." And so it's about owning those values. So if you and your husband sat down and y'all went out and said, okay, there's a chance in 2 or 3 years this land comes up for sale. Before this does, we want to put down in concrete who we are. I'll say your last name is the Smiths. Who are the Smiths? We are a family who fill in the blank. What would a couple of those things be? Oh gosh, you put me on the spot. We are. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Make them up. Make them up. Make them up what you'd want them to be.
What I would want us to be is that we are true, genuine people. We.
Be more specific. That's too esoteric.
I don't know. Sorry. I guess I am.
All right, here's a couple of the Delony ones that we have on our board.
Yeah.
The Delonys say yes to adventures.
Okay.
The Delonys, everybody's welcome at our table. Everybody. We have had some incredible people at our house. Our kids are going to have some great stories. Like, whoa, awesome. The Delonys treat each other and others with dignity and respect. And on and on. The Delonys take care of our neighbors, right? Those are things that, that's just into who we are, right? So our kids don't have to wonder if somebody comes over and says, hey, can I borrow some eggs? The answer will always be yes, even if we only have 3 left, because that's one of our core values. Our core value is not the Delonys will always have extra eggs in the fridge. We'll always take care of us first, and then maybe we'll help the neighbors with what's left over. That's not one of our core values. Our core value is we'll always help the neighbors. So my kids just know that. See what I'm saying? And so you don't have to answer that because I put you on the spot here, but I want you and your husband to sit down and say, hey, who are we going to be? And then anchored to that set of values, we can then dream about, I want to have a truck and a race car and a Tesla tractor. There's no such thing as that, but like whatever you want to dream about, dream all day long. That's amazing. But what I don't want you to, your husband's got an experience where he was given a farm way over his head in debt, and they took it from him. And in his mind, he's going to get that land back. And he's going to borrow money to get enough fertilizer and enough tractors and enough stuff to get going again. And without meaning to, because his dream is not attached to a set of values other than I will farm, he's going to find himself in the exact same position, except this time it's his neck on the line, not the family's.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. You're right. And it just makes me worried because I don't want to have resentment over anything.
That's right.
Either.
So the conversation begins with, honey, I want to support your dream to farm as much as possible. I want to support you. And here's where I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with you going to borrow $450,000 and put our family name on it. I don't feel safe with you quitting your day job and this not making any money and us relying on subsidies to eat. I don't feel safe with X, Y, and Z. So I want to create a set of values that says no matter what, even if we have to pass on this land deal and buy some different land another time, this is who we are. And also, it would help if you said, and also I'm too frugal. I know that. But I do it as a sense to try to keep the teeter-totter from going all the way one side, so I overcorrect on the other side. I want us to stop overcorrecting on either side. I want to support your dreams to the end of time. And also, I want you to create a home where I feel safe and our kids feel safe. It starts not with a bunch of actions and wild activity. It starts with a plan. It starts with a set of values. Here's who we are. Now let's go make a plan. And now if we can get that land, we can get that land. And if we can't this time, that'll suck and we'll be heartbroken and we'll grieve it. And then we're going to go find some different land next time. And on and on. He's lucky to have you, Nicole. Have the conversation about values. It's a tough one, and it may take you several times, several different kinds of conversations. But let's have that conversation about what you want, what you need, what he wants, what he needs. And then we'll go from there. Thanks for the call.